the SBA had their small business loan that they had done when everything started, and it was up to like $10,000, 30-year term on it. You know, you didn't really know what you qualified for. You put it. That ran out, and then it was strictly for agriculture. And then I saw something yesterday that came through where they opened it back up. So funds are back available. If anybody still needs something, doesn't hurt just to go and put in the information, see what you get. You know, well, what's the worst thing that can happen is you not take it, but you don't know until you try it. So I did see that came back available. I believe it was yesterday, maybe at the beginning of the week. But I saw a couple things pop up, and you know, most of the time you see those emails, and you're like, "What's this garbage? Don't think about it."
Yeah, exactly.
So, when I was in Square and my little notification was like, hey, this reopened and rechanged. So that's when I took a look at it, and that's what it was.
All right. Well, I had not seen that yet. So that's good information. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. And so what else? Oh, and then I wanted to give a shout out to you publicly here, Todd. You did a fantastic job last night pressing all of those masks and trying things and just seeing what happens.
Thank you.
I was definitely interested to see how this 3D one was going to come out, and so
yeah, do the fold, you'll be fine.
Yeah, if I ever get a sublimation printer, I will actually try it myself.
It was. I think that the big thing is pressure, because you know it's going to hold everything there for it, and like I said, getting it in there tight and getting that crease wrapped around it. Other than that, the thing is when you look at it, there's not a whole lot of that. It's not like super crazy. So when you do that fold, it is nice. There was just that one little spot at the bottom that was a little off, and I think with some practice I'll be able to nail it down. But remember, I opened that up and just to see if it went through on the other side, because sometimes you get lucky and you can double press sides on one thing, and didn't. So we lined it back up and went, and I was very happy how it came out with. So I think those are going to be a big hit.
Cool. Well, nice job showing that off. Yeah, I was definitely really interested on these, and because I mean, the way that the template's laid out, you kind of, it definitely works to wrap it around like that. So I thought that was a cool idea. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, if I ever get a sublimation printer that I ordered a long time ago, we'll give it a try.
Yeah, I was sitting there and I was actually stressing yesterday because I'm like, okay, how am I going to do this? Because I've done it before, but it was all through OBS. So I could have my different cameras in there. I'm like, okay, yeah. So there's not a camera option in this. How is this actually going to work out? And then I remembered, hey, I can send an invite to my phone, which just opened up on the iPad. But then the thing I remembered about that is you can't flip the camera around. So there's nothing better than trying to spin something around and get it lined up to look at it just right. But I think overall, throw some headphones in that thing so you don't get the sound back out of it. And that was a good workaround. So I'm looking forward to doing more things like that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Renee said your sub printer will show up. Todd still. All right. Nice. Cindy says my junior mints are melting. So yes, it must be darn hot. And again, Renee, hello. And Tanya and Kim. Tanya. Speaking of Tanya, I just wanted to get also, while I'm in shout out mode here, Todd, I wanted to give a shout out to Tanya. She invited me to her BNI group up in Mankato, Minnesota. And since they're doing them via Zoom, I attended that today. That was really cool. It was really awesome to meet people, see how it all works. I mean, just a really cool environment. So I appreciate that opportunity, Tanya. And obviously, that particular group doesn't work for me being in St. Louis, but at the same time, it is very cool to see how it all works for sure. So, and really nice people, man. They were all there to help each other, support each other. It reminds me a lot of the OSG community, Todd. Is kind of that rising tide raises all boats. So very cool. Kim, I think we got Kim checking in. Kim, I believe Kim's in Arizona today, but I can't recall for sure. Janessa, thank you for joining us. And Cindy asked, what was your big delivery in your driveway? We could talk about that later if you guys want to. And Tanya says, yeah, we can. Tanya says, anyone's welcome to join me for a visit. So I would highly recommend that. I mean, it's worth checking out. Facebook user, good evening, everyone. So Facebook user, please make sure you head over to streamyard.com/Facebook. That way you can give them permission to show off your name if you're catching us through the Business Basics group. The other option is just to go over to liveosg.com and watch from the YouTube channel. YouTube doesn't have any problems like Facebook likes to have, so definitely. And Christine says, thank you for stopping by the Women Plus Business today, Aaron. Appreciate the comments. It was a great program today, Christine. They're all fantastic, but I enjoy hearing from Julie, and you guys had some really eye-opening conversations. Some, I mentioned the question about would you rather be right or understand, and it was very thought-provoking stuff. So thank you very much for doing that, and keep that going. And great stuff there, Christine. Thank you. All right. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind jumping in there to, I don't know, for if you've done it before, for some reason, Facebook decides to clear that out every once in a while. Who knows? So, and Curtis, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you tuning in. All right, Todd. Well, should we get into our first question here, or how should? Yep.
Let's go. I remember how this works, right? They submit questions and then we give them answers. We say we're going to keep it between 15 minutes and a half an hour, and we're 9:38 in, and we then get a question yet. So
I've already stretched it to 10 minutes. My bad.
We are doing just fine.
All right, good. All right, well, let's get the question up here, Todd. What are some measures I can take to assure my customers we are taking the best safety precautions?
What are some measures I can take to assure my customers we are taking the best safety? Define safety as far as like this whole COVID thing? Or?
Yeah, I because this was from June 2nd, my guess is this was in relationship to COVID and reopening. And, I know people are reopening their stores. So,
it's crazy because I see, as more things reopen, I see more things blowing up, is getting bigger and bigger, more infection rates and that. So it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. For us, we still are I don't think we're going to open the doors until after the 4th of July weekend. It's been really nice not to have people, and we've been doing, just curbside pickup, or we've got something sitting outside the door. They let us know when they pull in the parking lot. We go out, hang it out. We go from there. Everybody seems to it's worked for the last couple months. So I don't see any reason to fix that. One thing that I did notice is on Friday, Bath and Body Works reopened. Limited amount of people in the store. They actually had people at the front. They had one designated entrance, one designated exit. Only 20 people were allowed in the store at a time, so everybody else had to stand, 6 feet apart down the mall. When you went in, they kind of had spacing set up. They had things set where you could stand for waiting for checkout. And then after every checkout, the person behind the counter wiped down the counter back there, and they had another person standing on this side, wiped everything down that was on this side of the counter. So, that's one way that you can show, just keeping things clean, sanitized. It just a peace of mind for that customer is always a good thing. And me, I really don't want the hassle of it, so I'm keeping the gate shut until I figure out a better solution. I think lockers are what we're going to go with. The mall isn't 100% on board with it yet, but they're getting there because, as I continue to remind them that JCPenney's declared bankruptcy, so did Bath and Body Works, and so did Victoria's Secrets. So they should probably be kind to small business, and maybe we'll stick around. So we'll see how it all plays out there in the end with that one.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I've seen different things in different places for sure. If I was smart, I would have invested in plexiglass companies well before this happened, but I was not. So, but I see more plexiglass out there than I've ever seen in my entire life, everywhere. I think the other thing to possibly invest in is a contactless thermometer. If you're that could be a way to. I know. Like our son started going to camp this week up the street at the little place called Veta, and all the kids have their temperatures taken before they're allowed to come in, and that kind of thing. So, obviously, for our business and for our industry, things are going to be a little bit different, but look at all the other things you see out there around you. You know, what things do you sit there and go, okay, that seems reasonable, and or what things are things that I don't know about that. And unfortunately, I think this is going to be a little bit like maybe airport security, whereas it's more for show and to make people feel comfortable than for any actual. I'm not saying that airport security doesn't work. We know that since 9/11, things have changed, but at the same time, they've proven over and over again that if somebody really wanted to do something, they really could. So it becomes a little bit more for show than the other way around. So what is it that you can do, and talk to the health professional? I know we've got a lot of nurses in the group and things like that. So, just look at those things. I mean, I think talking to your customers about what they need to feel comfortable would be something else to think about. And, just looking at it from that perspective. Now, the other side of this, Todd, that I wanted to talk about, that not necessarily specifically to this question, but in the same vein, is you mentioned with the wiping down of the counter and the one person over here and the one person doing this. Yeah, it's interesting because now there's a lot more staff involved. So and I have noticed, not massively, but just a slight uptick in prices of things as well. So my interest in hearing what you guys have to say and your thoughts, Todd, is how does that affect, some of these things we're going to do, there's going to be costs involved. I mean, going and buying plexiglass and buying lockers or whatever it is that you're doing, there's going to be costs involved. How do you manage that in your business?
Right. And something else to think about too is, so not only are you bringing the extra staff to do this, one, you got to make sure the staff wants to come in, because, hey, COVID related at home, they're getting that extra $600. So, a lot of them are like, I don't have daycare, I can't get the kids in, I don't have a sitter, things aren't open. But not only are you bringing in the extra staff, but you're also seem to, at least here, we have the hours are limited, where the mall was traditionally from 10 to 9. Currently, it is only 11 to 7. So you're losing out on 3 business hours a day. So if you're bringing in an extra person and you're out 3 hours a day, I mean, that changes a lot. Just do the math on it. That's 90 hours a week. That, or 90 hours a month. That's a lot of hours of sales. So if you at a place like that, say you might average $500 an hour in sales or something. That's a big number you're losing out on from those limited hours while you're still having a higher staff. So you can definitely see the prices going up. You're also having now an added expense in the cleaning expenses. You have an added expense for masks, because they were all wearing those. You have signage. You had all these extra added costs in there. So the cost of safety is going to go up. It's definitely one of those things that the cost of doing business. So if your numbers weren't tight before, you need to make sure they're tight now. And one of the things that in our area we're dealing with is we can go right across the river to Iowa. There's nothing. Everything's open, and I think bars are officially 100% capacity as on Friday. So anything can happen there. We can go 2 hours north, and we're in Wisconsin, and they're 100% whatever. And I go 2 hours south, and I got Missouri, and you tell me, how does Missouri?
Seems to be whatever, at least in my area. I haven't been into St. Louis since all this happened, but out here where I'm at, I went into the little local market butcher shop the other day, and before they had this tape on the floor and all of this stuff, and I walked in there, no tape, nobody had. I was the only person in the whole place wearing a mask. I was like, wow, we really just flipped the switch. I don't know if that was appropriate or not, so anyhow.
And one of the things that we've saw here is that there's quite a few businesses that don't want to reopen under the restrictions. Reason me is because if the restaurant, they can only be 25 or 50% capacity. I mean, they were, if the restaurant business, their margins, but their bottom lines aren't the heftiest. There's a lot of things that go into that. So if their bottom line at the end of the day, they can make 5 to 10%, they're super excited. When you cut their capacity in half and they're limited the hours that they can do, it's not worth it for them to reopen. We've been out of this now 3 months, so how much money are they going to have to spend to replenish their stock and everything?
Yeah,
you've got a lot of extra factors that go into that. that what can you do to reopen? And when you can only reopen at half staff or half capacity, is it really worth it? Because when you open that up, you based it off these numbers and what you can produce. So I've seen a real uptick, at least in our local area, for local places that were doing curbside, pickup, delivery. There's a Facebook group got put together, and everybody chipped in, like, here's this, here's that. So it's really brought that community together. And we've seen a lot of the places where they've pretty much said they're fine with the way it is, and they'll continue to do it that way because one, they don't have to have as much staff in there, because now they're not spending that extra for people cleaning off tables, cleaning dishes, doing things like that. Everything's just carry out, going out the door. So it's made them more efficient, and so they're working with less staff, but producing the same amount of money as before by doing it the other way. So it's definitely an interesting time for all of us, on how to do things, and because I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. It's just whatever's going to work best for you.
Yeah, totally. And I think a big part of it, I mean, Christine makes a good comment here. I find it reassuring to read about what stores and companies are doing to take precautions. I always check a company's website before I go. That's a really good point to think about. What are you posting? What are you sharing? Are you finding out from your customers what it is that they need and what's going to make them feel comfortable? And then, posting that stuff. You should be proud of the efforts that you're taking, regardless of if people think it's enough or not enough or too much or whatever. You just own it. Be you and do your thing and say, this is what we're doing. Here's the way we've going about it, and go from there. So I think that's a good point. Pilar, kidding. So we'll start on the back end of this before anybody gets too upset. But get one of those misting stations for the backyard, fill with water and bleach, and then must walk in it. There you go. That's an interesting. She's kidding.
I'm sure there's people I tell to do that.
Yeah. Juanita says not quite 100% here in Wisconsin. Some places choose to have more restrictions than others. Jennifer said, I'm in Massachusetts and my husband is a chef. 75% of restaurants are closed for good. Yeah, that's terrible to hear. I mean, I think we talked about it probably on this program, Todd, early on, where I had told you about the guy, Robert from Restaurant Impossible, Robert Irvin. Yeah, he was on a program and was talking about how they thought that a massive amount of restaurants were just not going to be able to open again, because at 25% restriction or whatever, if they were barely making money when they were 100% full, so now to automatically not even given the opportunity to get up to 100% full, it does change. Like you said, it forces people to get creative and do different things and figure out a way. So
fun fact, I was on that show, Restaurant Impossible.
Oh yeah.
One of our local places here. Actually, Corey worked with the owner at another job, and they kind of had it, and they came in and changed everything up in it, and had a good little thing. And I think it lasted maybe another 3 months, and then it was closed. It was just the one owner didn't want to change. He was kind of stuck in his ways. So it was interesting to see how a show like that is actually filmed and how quick. Yeah, it is just how you see it, where it's just bang, 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 bang. Here's your schedule. Get in and out of it. It was fun thing to be part of.
Yeah, that is cool. That's really awesome. All right, Eric says comfortability is not universal. Like any part of knowing your audience, there's a level of knowing what people need to trust the experience with your business. Very good point, Eric. Yeah, all these things that we talk about, Todd, and we kind of talk about knowing your audience here. And I mean, every single time I think about these things, the first thing that comes to mind is why it's so important to have a really clear understanding of your niche and have that really tight, because you can't be everything to everybody. Therefore, you have to be the right thing to the right people. And how are you going to know who the right people are or what the right thing is to do if you're not clear with who your target is? So it always circles back to that for me for some reason. All right, so let's see here. Cool. This is great, guys. I appreciate you guys sharing what's going on in your area. Like I said, I'm pretty in my little tiny community here in St. Peters and Cottleville, Missouri. I don't get out much anymore. So Idaho lifted all restrictions June 15th, but we have a lot of places that are choosing not to open yet. Kansas is allowing each county to set their own restrictions, but everything close to me is open except nursing homes. Dawn, hey, appreciate you joining us. Cool, interesting. Thank you guys for sharing what's going on in your neck of the woods. All right, Todd, let's see here. So that's 23 minutes. We've answered one question.
We are right back to our old stuff. We didn't lose a thing.
We haven't lost a beat for sure. For sure. Yeah. So, well, should we talk about my toy real quick?
Yeah, we should.
Toy. Sorry, I don't mean to.
We talk about mine. Yeah, I found it.
Yes. What is that toy, Todd?
It's my laser. I told you when I redid stuff, it was over here. Now it's made it here, and it'll go to the shop eventually. But it is right there, and it's still fired up. So
does that mean that since it's over there, you can burn stuff with it?
I can burn stuff with it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, actually, I was told because you may not be able to tell, but this is a chiropractic. This is a Quantum 400 that it's sitting on. And what is a Quantum 400, you ask? Well, I'll be glad to tell you.
Yes, please.
This is a massage table. So it's got a roller table. It's got the rollers in it that go up and down and all around.
Are you kidding? So, oh, I need that thing.
It's amazing. It's got a timer from 0 to 25 minutes. It's got massage, vibration, up and down, 8 levels.
Oh yeah. I used to try to get extra time on that when I'd go to the chiropractor. So
yeah. That was cleaning out the basement. We knew it was here, of course, but it became, because it is such a piece of equipment that it became, well, here, if you're not using it, boxes can go on top of it, and nobody's going to move boxes off stuff. So as of now, this is the last thing that needs to come off of it, so that way it can be used again. And it was nice. Oh man.
Oh man. I'm heading that way. I'll just come spend like an hour on that thing. I could definitely use it. I haven't
25 minutes at a time.
Yeah. I finally got set back up to head back in with my massage therapist. So I'm starting to get the headaches and the tingling and that kind of stuff again. So it's time to get back to that.
I could probably do a Q&A from this, just 25 minutes
God.
In there.
So where do you acquire said piece of equipment?
It was just kind of sent to us. Corey's aunt said, "Hey, I've got a massage table in a storage unit I need to get rid of." And I asked Corey, I said, "Does it come with the massage therapist?" That's what I was assuming it was. She says, "No, it's one of those roller tables." And I had no clue what she was talking about.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Because, if you didn't know, our area here, we are the home and birthplace, I guess, of chiropractic. Palmer College is right across the river. Yeah, Palmer College, where everybody goes to. That's right across the river from us. So there's a chiro on every corner. And I don't trust doctors that give out bent pins and free exams in the mall. It's just one of those things. It's like, wait, here, let me crack your back, and now you need to come back and see me 37 times. So it's always been a weird thing for me, and I've went a couple times, and yes, I did feel better, but I'd never seen a table like this. And they seen it, I'm like, what is that? That's like as big as a refrigerator. And they plugged it in, and I'm like, yeah, that'll find its way home. So brought it home, and this is where it has. We've had it now probably 5-6 years, maybe.
Wow.
But yeah, it has not been uncovered for probably 2, because it's just storage. There was a divide. This is kind of a dividing wall from another half bath or a bedroom on that side and the family room on this side, and this was kind of the just storage area where everything ended up at. And
gotcha.
That's where now we'll stop being able to use it.
All right. Well, if for whatever reason, Todd, if that thing ever has to leave your house and needs to go somewhere else, I'm pretty sure I can find a place for it. So,
if you thought your DPG was fun to get down the stairs,
I will hire somebody for that. All right. We got way off track as usual, as I usually do. So Cindy says we were starting to get a little bit of Little League orders. Then before opening day, it was shut down. One kid was sick, not confirmed. They shut down the season again. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I think, and I guess one thing to kind of think about in that realm, Todd, is we certainly want to get out there and start, getting, but let's not get kind of make the same mistakes that we made before all this happened, where we were kind of putting all of our eggs in that basket. I'm not saying that Cindy had done this, so let me just preface that with that. I'm just saying for the rest of us, let's think about, okay, cool. We got the Little League orders coming in. Yes, we should probably turn up the volume a little bit on some sports stuff, because there is going to be some things there, and I think that it'll be worthwhile. And I think that there'll be some new opportunities because of the kind of shakeup.
Right.
But at the same time, understand that just like that, they can go away real quick. So, just be prepared for that.
We got an order for football today, and the schedule that they sent, it does not have any dates on it. It just says weeks, and here's their event, because they don't know when they're going to be playing. They know who they're going to be playing, but they don't know, where or when. They're assuming that it's going to be at the stadiums, but they don't know, hey, is it the stadium's going to be empty or what? They just don't know. So, it's one of those where, hey, if I get to do something, great, but I'm not placing everything on, yep, we're going to do all the jerseys again this year, but doing the printing side of it, I'm fine with, signs, banners, at least a little bit of the pie and all of it. So we just got to, you just got to pivot. Yeah, that's what we got to do.
Yep. Agreed. Just keep, like you said earlier on, Todd, got to know your numbers. So that way you're able to pivot as quickly as you can. And, just keep those ideas that keep coming in, hopefully. In fact, I know that they do, because we all get them all the time. I don't care how uncreative you think you might be. Those ideas are flowing in all the time. And most of the time we just kind of shield them and let them bounce off. But now's the time to, doesn't mean you have to take action on every single one of those. But you know what? Write it down. Give a little thought to it, because that way when you do have to pivot, now you've already started the process. You've already kind of given a little thought to it. So,
yep.
I went and bought a couple of website domains today on an idea that woke me up in the middle of the night last night. So,
but I wouldn't expect anything less from you. What are you at now? About 1,100 of them?
No, only 89. I think
89.
I let some go this last round as things were being renewed, and I'm like, all right, I'm never going to use that. That's. But anyhow, all right, Todd. Let's see here. Martha, hello, and real quick, Todd, Martha. Thanks for the comment over on my Instagram picture. Today is day 2 of the keto diet, whatever that is. And I hear that day 3 is the hardest day, but today's been pretty rough. I don't have any energy. I haven't had sugar in 2 days. So
we'll
see how that goes.
I eat pasta and cake tonight.
Oh, God. And my wife's got a whole pantry full of nothing but like snacks that I can't even touch anymore. So fortunately, she was really nice and took care of me and went to the store today and got things that I might be able to eat. But like before we got on here today, I was searching the internet for like keto sweets that you can eat, because I've also, my sweet tooth has really gotten a hold of me today for some reason. So I had cinnamon coffee today without sugar, and it was the closest thing I've had to a sweet in 2 days. So.
I'm really sorry.
Hey, it's I want to live to be a little bit older here, and so
I think I'm kind of
heading in the wrong direction.
That the older I live, the worse it'll get, and I don't want those crappy last 5 years of my life. So I'm good if I go, and. If I go by a quick demise, all right. I lived a life. I got to eat cake and pasta and whatever the hell I wanted.
Yeah. Well, the positive of this is I've been loading up everything with butter and all sorts of stuff like that. So there's that. So All right. So Christine says, we have to remember that getting back to more normal operations doesn't mean the virus is gone. It just means we're not as worried about hospital space as we were. That's a really good point, Christine. Yeah, because case wise, the shutdown wasn't because of the virus per se. I mean, it was because of the virus, obviously, but it was more because the thought was that the hospitals were going to be overrun. So anyhow, we talk about. Let's see here. Let me get to a couple of. Get yourself some good electrolytes, and you'll feel amazing. Thank you, Valerie. I'll take that.
Like Pedialyte work?
Huh?
Like Pedialyte? Can you? I mean, that's great for hangovers. So
yeah, I don't see why not. I kind of feel like I have a hangover right now. So
it's a Pedialyte. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, Pedialyte. That's good stuff. Monk fruit. Okay, I don't know what that is, but I'll have to check into that.
I totally saw something today on monk fruit, only because I got sucked into, you get sucked into those little clickbait ads, but it was some organic grains or something. It was a 1 scoop a day thing that you're supposed to, super fruits and all that, and monk fruit was one of them.
Huh, cool. I'll have to check that out. So appreciate that info. What about the workout program you started? Yes, the OSG challenge. I almost killed Todd, and no, he was fine. He was good. Yeah, that would be the other part of it, Cindy. I'd like to get into some more exercise. I just have not been able to keep with the program, so I figured I better start looking at the eating side here for a little bit too, and get that under control because yes, it finally all caught up with me over the last couple of weeks, Todd. I'm the largest I've been in a long time. So
like. On this keto diet, like, can you eat meat? Like, is that still good? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's Father's Day weekend, and it's Tomahawk Steak Day.
Yep. Oh yeah. The meats and all of that stuff is all good as long as there's no carbs. It's basically carbs is which breads, rices, sweets, all that kind of fun stuff.
Potatoes,
yes.
Yes, so no fries.
We had our family makes this chicken, broccoli, and rice dish that we all love. All of us love, and we had it last night, and I had to make mine without the rice part in it. So I still had the broccoli and the chicken. All right. We're getting way off course again. Hold on, let me rephrase. I'm getting way off course again. This is great, but I'm getting all this wonderful information from you guys, from everybody out there. So, Pilar, is alcohol a carb? I don't know. I have not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess it is.
Drink that stuff that Pilar claims is liquor, the Michelob Ultra. It's got like 3 carbs or whatever. But I don't think moonshine has it in it, so I think it'll be fine. We just gotta get moonshine.
Yeah.
Vodka.
Cindy said vodka. Is there, yeah, maybe. Okay. Yeah, vodka. That's good. Oh, that's a good idea. I could have vodka and vodka soda or something like that.
Vodka grapefruit.
I don't know. Alcohol turns straight to sugar. Darn it. Not vodka. Nice. All right. Well, Tito's. I love it, man. You guys, this is perfect. This has been awesome for me. Yes, you're right, Cindy. You got to get up early and get it over with. Totally. I am so not a morning person though. So, but you're right. Just got to do it. So we'll figure it out. I can add that to it. I just got to get over the 3-day hump here. Jerry, I didn't mean to miss yours. Remind me of the domain link. It is. I'm typing it right now. It's name silo, and putting it in. Maybe see if that goes in there. So I do have an affiliate link, and so if you go through from my website to --name silo, you can get over there to it. I've loved name silo though. The thing I love about it is that unlike most of the rest of the URL registrars, once you pay for it, they don't do the whole without being very clear about the fact that they don't. Most registrars will go, okay, we'll sell you this domain for $5, and then the next time it's $16. And so, yeah, Rena said you might get the keto flu. Just a warning. I did read about that, so I'm keeping an eye on that.
Doing something to get healthy and you get sick from it? I'm out. I'm out.
It's your body's reaction to changing to burning fat stores instead of from carb stores is what I read about it. And obviously I'm not an expert here. So
it's like, like a drug addiction withdrawal, you're going to get the
sweat. Valerie says, vodka mixed with sparkling ice is what I drink. Once you haven't had alcohol, you'll be a cheap drunk. Perfect. Yes. Detox, Facebook user. Detox is probably what the Keto flu is, I believe. And I'm probably saying it wrong too, just FYI. All right, Todd. So let's see.
You got a DTG printer. Yes.
So Cindy had asked about the big delivery that my wife had posted that was in our driveway, and that was fun to get it down the stairs. But I did end up getting a DTG printer. Just trying to look at, again, as people pivot and things like that, looking at ways, talk to a lot of people that, looking for that kind of help and support. And I was fortunate through some things that I was able to do to be able to make that investment. And scary investment as it may be, I felt like it was the right investment, because I think that, Todd, we can support the folks in OSG. Hopefully is my goal, to someday be able to support them even more. So anyhow, I guess one of the questions, and I think you put this question in, Todd, and I appreciate that, is how soon do you think you'll be able to offer the service? This is where you're going to hold my feet to the fire. Here's the challenge: is the numbers are tough on it right now, at least from what I can tell. And Valerie asked, did Terry hook me up? I don't know if he hooked me up. Unfortunately, with the Epson, they can't hook you up necessarily. I did buy it through Terry, because he is one of my best friends. So I kind of felt like he would be a little pissed if I bought it from somebody else. So I did buy it from Terry. So yes, we'll just leave it at that. And Missy said, I spent the morning deep cleaning the DTG today. Yes, there's definitely a lot of maintenance and stuff that goes along with it. So one of the things for me, Todd, was the fact that fortunate or unfortunate, I'm not sure which way to look at it, but I was involved early on in the DTG world. I worked for a company called US Screen Print. And back in 2004, along with Brother, we were some of the first people to have a direct-to-garment machine, well before Epson was involved. So I've seen all of the, not mistakes. I think, the technology at that time was not quite ready for everybody. I think people that had a market.
Are you saying you sold a lot of boat anchors? Is that what you're saying?
Well, there was definitely time, and that was the challenge. I mean, I quit the job a couple of times because I just couldn't do it anymore. It was kind of like turning stuff over, but it was, at the time, it was so new and so, kind of the sexy thing. Everybody wanted it. And I spent more time trying to talk people out of it than I did into it, because I didn't want to have that conversation with them the next year, that they had a boat anchor. And at the time, there was definitely a lot of challenges. It's obviously come a long way since 2004. And so those challenges aren't quite as great. There's not as many boat anchors out there. You can let them, especially the purpose-built ones like the Epsons and the Brothers and things like that. You can let those sit for a little while. And because what I was seeing people do was they were so excited about this new fun technology, is that they buy the printer and then they wouldn't have any work for it. They'd take it home. They were excited. They'd get it set up and they'd start printing a few things. And then they just let it sit there because they didn't have any work for it. And then all of a sudden somebody would show up at their door and oh yeah, now I've got work for it. And they turn it on and they couldn't get it to work because the print heads were clogged, and it was
of an Epson printer with sublimation ink. If you're not using it, you might have issues with the print head. So make sure if you do that you're printing.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's got to be the right investment. I might have a boat anchor on my hands here. I'm not sure where it fits. I'm not looking to kind of get into the direct decorating business. My wife is going to hopefully be able to add some things to her store. I want to be able to support our success group. and the community here with any kinds of wholesaling that we can do. So anyhow, the question is, when did I even post the question, Todd?
You did post
and
the question.
I took it down.
You did.
All right. Soon. Yeah. Let's start with soon. Here's the deal. I think to start off, until I can get the numbers tight and really kind of understand where things are at, the support that we're going to be able to offer is kind of more of a, you need a shirt, a one-off fulfillment. That's probably where the sweet spot's going to be to start for me. Just, I'd love to say, okay, here's the price list and go out and do that. But, Todd, as you and I went through the original 5 keys that we did back in January, I don't have all that data together on this to feel comfortable with that, so could I sell retail and be okay? Absolutely. Wholesale wise, it's just, I don't know if the margins really are there.
Just knowing, from me, when I first got into the EcoSolvent printer, I remember the first thing I printed was a color chart, and I only printed them this big because, I was used to regular printing where I'm like, Jesus, if I print these, do you know how much ink that's going to use? It's going to kill me. I can't do that. And now I look at it like, how much ink I use? It's like, oh, it's not nearly as bad. So It took me, probably a good 100 jobs to be able to get a real, grasp on things. Even though I had the little thing in VersaWorks that tells me, here's how much ink you have, here's this. It was still, hey, you're going to have stuff that's not going to print right. You're going to have issues with it here. You're going to have some adjustments back and forth. So I think that's one thing that and any new piece of equipment that people don't really take into account is, that first, 100 jobs, I think, is one of those where it's all learning, because you have new material. I mean, I still get a new material where I'm like, I don't know, let's see what happens, because I haven't ran it through. It sucks because I have to spend, $500 on a roll of material that I don't know how it's going to print. And when you start getting that and you go through, a good 10 yards of it before you figure it out. Yeah, that's part of doing business.
Yeah. Totally. So I know I've kind of danced around the whole thing. I don't really have a great answer. My goal is to try to get something up before the end of the week, at least a very minimal something up. So we'll see about that. I can't make that like 100% commitment to that, because I've got to understand it a little bit more first. So there'll be something there.
More information to come. In the next month, you should have a good grasp on it, I feel.
For sure. And so one other thing I wanted to talk about. I know, like, Missy's got a machine. I know there's several other people that have direct-to-garment machines in this. So the other thing I'd like to explore with this whole thing is try to figure out a way to help educate folks on better ways to, because here's my thought, is there is a huge amount of business out there for people that have direct-to-garment printers in like the merch world, in the print on demand world. Todd, you and I were talking about some things the other day. So one of the other goals that I have with all of this is figuring out a way to help kind of, provide that out there. You could go, look at YouTube channels of all of the stuff. I mean, heck, if you've got a kid, go watch what YouTube channels they're watching. You could probably, find 5 or 6 of them, reach out to them, and be selling them direct-to-garment prints, like that. Just tell them, hey, you sell these for $20 on your site. You can even set up an Equid store or whatever for them. You sell them, you promote them for $20, and we'll give you $5 every time that you sell one, kind of thing, or something.
And then I look at it as being, on the production side of it, where if you see anybody that has a minimum on anything, they have screen printing, you have a minimum 24. Okay, well, what are they doing with those under 24 orders? Are they just turning them away? Why can't you reach out to them and be like, hey, we have this, you don't have it, you're turning away jobs. How about we do a little collaboration and help each other out? So I think, that is so good for those low orders, because it's just that it just fills that niche for it,
Sure. Yeah. So the goal is really to kind of, again, help figure out ways to support, this will give me a chance to, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, that we can make this work. And, so that's the other part that's really important to me on this, Todd, is that everybody kind of, and so whatever feedback you guys have is, Jerry, sorry, a little squirrel here action for me here. Jerry said, "Can you fulfill my Father's Day orders with your DTG if I get you the info by late Saturday night?" He said, "Just kidding," and let's stick with just kidding. Yes, no, I'm not taking any orders right now.
I would say, sure, Father's Day 2021. You got it.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, Jerry, if you get me the information by this Saturday, by next year Father's Day, those bad boys will be. No, I was kidding. So back to what I was saying there real quick, Todd, just to wrap that thought up. So you guys tell me what support, the decisions that we make, that I'm making here with a lot of these things, I don't know if they're good decisions or not. But when I put it up against our, to provide resources that empower over 1,000 businesses to achieve their idea of success, it seemed to fit in that instance. So my ask of you guys is, what is there something, because the other piece that I'm still waiting for that's getting a little frustrating is the sublimation printer as well. So we'll be able to print 24 inches wide, and so want to be able to offer transfers and help people with transfers if you're not in the sublimation business yet, or things like that. So anyhow, whatever your guys' thoughts are, Todd and I can talk it over till we're blue in the face, but if it doesn't help you, it's a waste.
I'm the king of sub stuff out. If I can sub it out, so I look at it as being like, ooh, thank you for making the investment because I don't have to now. So I appreciate that. That works out.
Yeah. Thanks.
On my side, it's a lot of that 2-color stuff, that 2 or 3 color of those less than 24, where I'm ordering transfers more than that. It's finding that sweet spot for it. So I mean, even our softball teams in that, there's only 12 kids on a team. Well, 12 isn't a great number for transfers because you're paying a lot for it. So typically HTV, because each team is a different color, each team has a different logo. It's not the great money producer. But if I could say, hey Aaron, so I've got 300 shirts that I need done at this, let's figure out a price. And because they're all individual, it makes sense to do things like that. Any of those smaller orders that I can just get out, I mean, I have no problem doing that. And it's the same way with sublimation prints. What I talked about last night is, you don't need a sublimation printer to do sublimation. You just, cut out the expensive part of the machine and just order the transfers. You've already got the heat press. You're good to go.
Yeah. That's and yeah, these are scary investments. My wife is looking at me like you're a nut and you're gonna put us in the poorhouse. But again, But
you'll look good. You'll look good.
Yeah, we'll have the best shirts there, though. But again, it is really important to me, though, that this is all about supporting the OSG community and all of that. So Todd is the master of helping me explain and bring the reality of things to it here, and so through the outsourcing and that support. But yeah, so your feedback is always welcome, always important to us, and we'll go from there. So I did actually print one shirt, actually 2 shirts. This was
oh, look at that.
got the family there. Oh, with the green screen, it doesn't like this text is green. That's hilarious. All right. And then
oh, that's doing it again. I can see.
Is it really? Because yep, there we go. So there we go. Don't show off stuff on a green screen. Okay. So Tina said, I came in late. Did you get a DTG, Aaron? We have talked on expanding sublimation even, but honestly wanted to add embroidery. So yes, Tina did get a DTG, looking at it to try to set up some sort of fulfillment, wholesale kind of scenario. Just trying to figure out how to make it a win-win for everybody. And again, to start, I was telling
another win on it, because then it becomes a win for your customer too. A win for you, for Aaron, because he gets to use his new fancy machine. A win for you because you get to make money hitting a button, and a win for your customer because, hey, they got the shirt that they wanted. So I think as Aaron gets more into this, it's going to be an amazing thing. It's going to show that, you don't need to have every piece of equipment possible. Tina says that looking at embroidery. So was I, and then I realized how much an embroidery machine costs and how much I have no desire to learn another software and the amount of time it takes to do it. There's places that's all they do is embroidery, so why not let them do that and I do this? Because I don't know when it comes to embroidery of how cutthroat it is on how the margins are thin and how the money is. It's tough to make that investment back if you're not focusing on that 100%. So I'd much rather sub stuff out. And like I said, even with me, even though I have a sublimation printer, you don't think when I have big jobs that I'm just not going to send it to Aaron and have him print those out, because guess what? I don't have to worry about a paper jam. I don't have to worry about the ink. I don't have to worry about that. I just hit a button and the transfer is going to show up and it's going to be amazing.
Fingers crossed. So we'll just leave it at that. Jerry asked, will DTG print? Yes, it will print white. So we got the printer, got it in the basement. We've got our official training session tomorrow, but we got it up and running last night. We don't have any shirts. So my wife and I miscommunicated on when to order shirts, but they're supposed to be delivered by 9 p.m. tonight. So we'll have that for tomorrow. We did find an old shirt of hers and printed white ink on it, and it didn't come out great because it's an old shirt with all frayy and stuff like that. But now, since I have very limited knowledge on DTG besides it looking cool, what as far as shirt content, what does it have to be? 100% cotton or? Yeah, and this will be the other part that I've got to figure out. Is because what I understand about it, and it's been a little bit since I've been as immersed in it as I'm going to be again, is that the shirts do make a big difference in the prints. I mean, I know a lot of people can make a lot of things work, and every kind of beauty's in the eye of the beholder, where for somebody that might be, this might be just fine, but for other people, it's not crisp and clear enough. So 100% cotton is what the ink's like. Also a ring spun cotton shirt is way more advantageous. In fact, with these, if you look at it really close, this was just tore the tag out of it even. One of the cheapest Hanes shirts there is, if I remember right. Yeah, it doesn't even have some really cheap Hanes shirt, and so it's not ring spun, and you could definitely, I mean, if you're looking at it pretty closely, it's not the cleanest, clearest print that you could get. So anyhow, well, like on that, that's another thing. What is the difference between the two? Between a ring spun and what makes it better to DTG print or print using a DTG than the other? Yeah. So ring spun, the knit is much tighter. With just a combed, the fibers actually stick up from it and kind of out from it. And so what's happening is as that inkjet's going across it like that, as it's shooting the ink down, it's hitting those fibers and kind of like spreading more. Whereas when you got a real nice flat surface to print on, a ring spun, plus you've kind of got a nice flat shirt to print on, you can get closer to the shirt first and foremost. And secondly, as the ink's shooting down, it's going down where you want the ink dots to actually fall. So it is. So if I had to kind of make it so people understood, it would be like running a regular piece of paper through a printer as opposed to like a piece of flock or something that has a fuzziness to it, because that flat one is going to print great, and that other one it's going to go where the fibers tell it to go. Yeah. I think that's a great analogy. I mean, you can maybe even look at it more like the difference between your regular inkjet printer. If you're just putting a plain piece of paper through there, yes, it's going to look fine. But if you put a photo glossy or something, a high quality paper that's nice and smooth through that same printer, it's going to look even more. So most of the time people won't know the difference, and it's it is what it is. But as you want to provide the best product that you can provide. So I think that's where the difference becomes a little more clear when you start printing, real high detailed stuff and photorealism and stuff like that. It definitely is going to show more. If you're just printing, logos and kind of bigger, blockier things, something, again, that's going to look funny because of the green screen, but something like that, it doesn't show up as much.
So then is any shirt color easier to print than others, or there's ones to stay away from, or are there limitations of it, or how does that play in the whole gamut of everything?
The shirt quality definitely, so most of the major shirt brands do now have like Fruit of Loom calls theirs the HD high density. So again, tighter weave. So the ink has more stuff to sit on top of as opposed to falling inside of the weave. Fruit of Loom, I know a lot of people rave about some of the Bella Canvas. I don't have the list in front of me here, but there's actually a list that I got from Terry of like the shirts. Gosh, I'm trying to think of all the numbers. Yeah, I'll come up with them. I can post that or whatever. But it's shirt. The shirt does make a difference. Is what it boils down to. So, and
what about color of shirt? Does color of shirt make a difference?
Color of shirt, yeah. No, yeah, there you go, Missy. BC 3001. That's the one I was trying to come up with. Thank you.
That's one of our go-to standard shirts is the 3001. Love that shirt.
Yeah, and they say it's really great. That's one of the shirts that is supposed to show.
Right now,
oh, cool. That's supposed to be here tonight for me to test out. So, so let's see here. What was I saying?
Colors of shirts.
Oh yeah, colors. Sure. Yeah, colors don't matter. Now, back in the day, the red shirts were definitely a little tough when it came to the pre-treatment, and reds and oranges and things like that. So I don't know what that's going to look like. I know pre-treatments come a long way obviously since I was involved with it 10 plus years ago. So there's that. But yeah, colors. Now, the one thing to note too when it comes to colors is just like a sublimation printer, as far as like how the ink interacts with the colors of the shirts. If you aren't, so people will be like, oh, well, this is not a black shirt. So, because the cost of the white ink and the amount of white ink that you have to lay down is substantially more than if you were just to print, onto a white shirt where there's no pre-treat, there's no underbase. And so, but there are times when you need to underbase a light blue shirt, for example.
So for those that don't know, what do you mean by underbase? Is it going to print a white first, then come back and then print over it? Is that what it's going to do?
Correct. So if anybody's a screen printer, that they definitely would be familiar with this. But what happens is the area underneath the colors get printed on, get the white print that goes on it. And that shirt has actually been pre-treated. And the pre-treatment is actually a sodium-based formula. And what's happening is that pre-treatment sits kind of on top of the shirt and starts that white ink curing already. That way the white ink stays on top of the shirt. So that way when the colors come and print over the top of it, it has that white base to print on.
So basically it would keep like your whites from turning pinks on a red shirt.
It'll definitely do that. If you were to print, the pre-treatment definitely does that. Yes, it keeps that white from just going right down in the shirt. So, and then if you didn't print white, even on like a light blue shirt, the colors are going to change. So if you had a soccer ball, that soccer ball is going to have light blue panels.
Yep.
and that kind of thing. So anytime that you're putting, so a lot of people get hung up on the light versus dark shirt, and it's actually not light versus dark shirt as far as like cost and pre-treat and all that other stuff. What it is it's, do I need to print white ink or not is what it boils down to. And anyhow, there's definitely lots of little things, and I'm looking forward to learning even more and getting into some of the newer stuff and newer information with that. Let me get back to a couple of comments though that I know that I passed over here real quick. Missy said, how are you pre-treating? So I have on order a pre-treat machine, but I do not have that yet. It came with a Wagner power sprayer that was a used in-box one that I got. That was a little bit, but hey, I guess it's free, quote unquote, since the pre-treat. Yeah. So I'm using a Wagner power sprayer. Now, I am fortunate that when I was involved with this early on, we were actually, in fact, I remember the day that I found Wagner power sprayers to be able to sell to people when we were selling direct-to-garment machines, because we didn't know how to pre-treat. We were looking at, like, at first we were doing a spray bottle, and it was terrible. So I have pre-treated with a Wagner power sprayer in my life. Probably, if I were to take a guess, I'd probably say north of 5,000, 10,000 shirts. Just doing, because like I remember times when I'd go to a trade show and we'd forget the pre-treated shirts. So I'd break out the Wagner power sprayer and go into the hotel bathroom of my hotel room and pre-treat a whole bunch of shirts so we could print on them at the show, kind of thing. So.
Now, I think, and I could be wrong because I don't know much about it, but isn't there places that sell pre-treated shirts already too? Yeah, there's a RTP, ready to print is what that stands for. It's by the folks at Image Armor who make a pre-treatment solution, and so those are already pre-treated shirts. So you can buy those, and they're pre-treated and ready to go. Problem is you're stuck to that style and limited colors and things like that, but it's certainly a worthwhile thing if the pre-treatment thing is hard to kind of get your head wrapped around. I mean, it took a long time for me to be able to get it dialed in. The pre-treatment makes a big difference. You have to have the right amount. Most people over pre-treat their shirts, actually. That they kind of go, it's like, nope, it's a mist. You just want a mist on there, enough that you got a even coverage, but not enough that the shirt's soaked. So, so there's that. Let's see what else here. I could think those would be good for somebody that just didn't want to mess with that or the time that it takes, because I'm sure it's a process. So I just want to be able to, when I want a shirt, grab it done. I would assume that if there's something that you were doing a bunch of time, this is going to be your thing, you'd probably spend a day just pre-treating all your shirts. So when you need them, they're ready to go. So you're not waiting around for them.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good point. Is you don't have to pre-treat right before you print. In fact, you're actually better off pre-treating before, because the drier they are, the better they're going to print. So what we used to pre-treat a whole bunch of shirts and press them and have them ready to go, and then we'd fold them up and put them in boxes, and then we'd be able to take them to shows and stuff like that. And you just take it out of the box, hit it for a couple seconds on the heat press just to get any wrinkles out and make it flat, and away you go printing. So pre-treating in advance is definitely a good thing to do. Pilar asked, for those of us with next to no knowledge on DTG, how's the hand on it? It's really good, actually. You could feel it, but if you were to close your eyes and feel it like this, I'm not sure I could tell you exactly where the print is. Now, this is a white shirt. So white shirts are going to have a lot less hand than the black shirts do, or dark shirts.
On the scale of HTV to screen printing, where does it lie? I'm guessing more on the screen printed side.
I'd say even less hand than screen print.
Less than that. Okay.
Yeah. So it's more in between
screen printing to sublimation. So more in there.
More in between screen printing to sublimation. Okay. Yeah. Let's see here. Missy says, I print color charts on each brand color shirt. That's a fantastic idea. In fact, I pulled up the color charts last night to look at those. So, yep. So Jerry, I think we just answered that. Can you pre-treat numerous shirts and have them ready? In fact, I would almost recommend that. So
yeah, I would too.
Just give the answer. So
just because I'm assuming so I get a box of shirts in, and I got this shirt. I just got this shirt in here. What is the time frame from opening up, taking a shirt out of a box to being able to put that shirt back in the box finished? Do you have any idea on that? So you're pre-treating it, you're printing it, and let's just say it's a standard, let's go like a 6.5 by 12 image, just like a half thing like that.
Yeah. Well, it is going to depend a lot on whether you're printing white ink or not. So that will change the time pretty dramatically. So let's just assume that we're talking about a dark shirt that we've got to put white ink on. Okay. So you've black shirt. Okay. Black shirt. So we pre-treat it, which, that's, so you got to set it up there. You got to pre-treat it, and then you got to press it for about 40 seconds, 45 seconds, or until all the moisture's out of it.
Okay.
And so you got that. So now we're, my guess is at this point we're at 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes maybe, depending on where the art is. If you have it kind of ripped and ready to go, but let's just say, okay, then you load the art in there. So you got another 20, 30 seconds at most for that. You've got to load the shirt on I forgot to load the shirt on the DG. Sorry, I'm just walking through the steps in my head here on the fly. So
for all things you need to do when it comes, that people that don't have, when you have a new piece of equipment, these are all things you need to think about when you're coming into to what your prices are going to be, because as we know, every minute costs something. So to go through it, that's how you figure things out.
Yep. Yeah, because the salespeople will give you the numbers of what this could print, but what they're talking about is if the thing was just printing nonstop, and it, unfortunately, you've got to load and unload shirts. You could get a second garment hold down, a platen, and so that's how you could speed up production. Is you have that second platen and you're loading the shirt while the shirt's printing, and and you're pressing and whatnot. So a good operator really could kind of get it spinning pretty good, but again, you got to get all these things set up. So so back to it. So we pulled it out of the box. We've set it up to pre-treat it, whether that be spraying it or hitting it with a machine or whatever you're going to do. We've now we've now set the pre-treatment. We've dried out the pre-treatment, so our shirt's dry. Then we're going to place the shirt on the platen. So again, I'm thinking at this point we're probably a couple minutes in. On the bad side, probably 2 minutes, maybe closer to 1.5 minutes at this point. Then we're printing, so you're probably going to have about 2 minutes in a full size print on a dark shirt with the white ink printing. I mean, there's different settings you can use, so it depends on how bright white you want and that kind of thing. Let's say 2 minutes, and then you've got another 1.5 minutes for curing. So, I'm not doing math very good in my head.
5-6 minutes, 5-6 minutes, somewhere there.
If you're really focused and cranking, I'd say 5-6 minutes. You're probably closer to the numbers that I'm looking at right now, Todd. Just because I don't know how efficient we're going to be off the blocks, is probably about 8 minutes is what I'm using.
In my head, what I'm thinking is once you get into production mode, while this one is going through pre-treat, while this is printing, so that way when you pull that one off to set that print, this one can go on there to start printing again, and you can just start that cycle all over again. So it's just like with anything else, is you use that downtime while the machine's working, so you can work, so it cuts down your production time on it.
Correct. And then that just becomes setting up the flow the right way, because the challenge with a direct-to-garment printed shirt that I've seen over the years, in fact, my wife did it last night when she was trying a shirt, is that when the shirt comes off the printer, if you're not carrying it the right way, it will. She's got a little mark down the side where the side flapped over on her, and before she could get it on the heat press, and you could barely see it. It'd be hard, but you'd probably have to defect that out. So,
yep, I've done that with printing, where I didn't realize when I first got my printer, my center roller, and I was doing a static cling, and it went back to cut, and it wasn't set yet, and there's a nice roller mark going all the way down the middle of the print. So, yep, it's all part of the process from there. Now, is shirts the only thing it can do, or can you do like sweatpants? Can you do on tote bags? Can you do, is there anything? I don't know what it can do and not do. Shoes, hat. I don't know what limitations there with it.
Yeah. Really, it becomes what you can get flat enough on. They've got cap platens that you can get. There are, what they call leg platens for doing sweatpants and things like that. Cotton is definitely the key. I know that they've talked for a long time about polyester, but the experts that I am comfortable listening to are saying that, the process of getting an actual good polyester print off of it takes so long and is so cumbersome and so kind of an art form that you couldn't make any money with it. Nobody would be able to make money with it. So,
DTGs, that free jet 330 keeps, and so one of my ads that comes up every time that tells me you can do white ink and you can do it on poly and you can do it on this, and I'm just like, I don't know enough about this, so I'll just go here and buy one and he can take care of
it. Yeah. So I will they someday be able to do a better job with poly? And the thing with poly though is that I'd still want to sublimate poly if I can. It just and I know that we don't like doing shirts and sublimation necessarily. I'm with Todd. The press lines are a pain in the ass, but even when you are get a good print on it, the washability is still not going to be great.
Yeah,
I mean, the ink's made to adhere to cotton. At the end of the day, it's meant to bond to cotton. So like you said, you could do some sweatpants, tote bags if you got some kind of twill or something. I can't remember exactly what there's a certain kind of tote that actually print really well on them. Cotton towels, little tea towels and things like that. The guys over at Equipment Zone have done some cool videos and printed some really cool shoes, like the canvas high top shoes. So canvas would be another thing that you could print on it.
So I see some OSG shoes in our future.
I'd be willing to wear some OSG shoes, So I'm going to make the socks with sublimation still, but the OSG shoes. So
yeah, why not?
Yeah, Missy says, "Take it from me. Do not believe the poly hype." Yes, I'm right there with you, Missy. I don't believe the poly hype. And honestly, I'm my opinion on that is based a lot around what my friend Terry says. So I could be proven wrong, but
So what about Terry. Like a 50-50 blend shirt? How does that fall in the mix? 50-50?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's probably in the same kind of process of sublimating a 50-50 shirt. Can you do it? Sure. Can you sell it? Sure. Is it as good as 100% poly? No. So 100% cotton versus a 50-50 shirt. Can you sell it? Can you do it? Yes. Is it as good as 100%? No. So that's a tough one. That's a tough one to answer for sure. So at the end of the day here, Todd, and I think this is something important for everybody to understand is there's a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of things that people go, oh, well, I can do that. Or I figured that out. Cool. Go for it. That's your thing. What is it in your business that you do really well, that you figured out, that you feel confident in, or at least are interested enough in it to take the time to figure it out and feel confident in it? Because somebody can come to me and say, Aaron, I want you to print poly with your DTG. I'm going to say no. It's not because I don't like you. It's not because somebody else couldn't figure it out. I just am not comfortable with that at this point. So I think that's an important point to make for people, Todd, is that there's a lot of things you can do. And I'm sure there's always somebody out there that's going to say, oh yeah, you could totally do that. I'm sure you could. Can you make money?
You can, sublimate on cotton by using this powder or this spray, and you do that. That's not sublimating on cotton. You're sublimating on something else. The Caesar product where you can sublimate. You're not. You're just, you're sublimating on vinyl and putting that on there. So, that's one of the things I see in the sublimation side where people get upset about, that they can't do it on cotton, and they have issues, or they'll do it on 50-50, and it has that vintage look after that first wash. So. That there's definitely limitations to everything, and that's one of the things that we should do as our job is to educate our customers on what can and can't be done, because they don't know. If they see something and think that you can just do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Todd, saying educating the customer, educating your customers is probably one of the most important things you can do as a business owner. And, again, that comes back to understanding your niche, having a clearly defined niche. So you know how to educate those folks. You know how to speak the same language. You know how to get the point across without, pissing them off, so to speak. Yeah. So, because like I said, there's always going to be somebody that says, oh, well, I can do that, or I can. Okay, sure. But can you make money at it? And maybe they have a different circumstance where they don't need to make money at it, or they're set up differently. Everybody's different. So, you be the best version of you. Yep. And be okay saying no to stuff. It's not going to be the end of your business. In fact, saying yes to stuff probably has a bigger chance of leading you to failure than saying no to stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So that's the soapbox. That's my
DTG.
Good.
Good convo. I like that. That made me feel more confident in it and knowing that you're going to crush it out of the park. And this is going to be fun. I can't wait to see the videos of it going. I can't wait to see how everything works. Because hey, take it from me. I live pressed. How many things did I screw up last night?
Yeah.
So yeah. It's all fun.
Yeah, I did have a shirt downstairs in the basement. I don't know if we're at an hour 20, so probably not here. But I can live print something here in just a second if anybody wants to check that out. I don't know. I could switch it over to my phone and take it downstairs if people are willing to hang out for just a moment. Or
I have a birthday party, so I'm
you're out.
I'll be out, but just throw it on the Live OSG channel. Now that we have 100 members, hey, that's a celebration of it. Go live stream on YouTube and put it on there.
All right. I'll go do that before I have dinner. So it'll be quick. So head over to Live OSG. Give me a couple minutes to figure out how to set that up on my phone. I wasn't thinking about doing it that way, but that is actually a really good idea. All right, cool. Todd, anything else before we get out of here?
We got training next week. We've got the Instagram shops training next week. Yep. We've got this back in 2 weeks. What do you got on Saturday? Or what do we got on Friday is this women in garment?
Yep. This Friday, upcoming Friday here, 2 days from now, Christine will be taking over the Two Regular Guys mics over at facebook.com/tworegularguys, or you can find their YouTube channel or just go to the website, tworegularguys.com. Marketing to women is the topic for this week. And she's got a lineup of 3 very wonderful folks that will be joining her, wonderful ladies that are joining her. And they all just went right out of my head, though. I cannot. So, Christine, you can share who's going to be there, but you can check that out. All the information about who's going to be there is over there at Two Regular Guys. So that's Friday. Saturday morning, I'm really excited about this. My son is going to be my guest this Saturday morning. There was a conversation in the Business Basics group recently about TJ, I think, started it, about sustainability and packaging and some of that other stuff. And I had this weird, wild idea in my head that as I was kind of contemplating my own kind of sustainability place in the world, I thought, you know what? Who would be the best person to kind of, okay, here's who I'm turning the planet over to when I'm done. It's my son. And so, who has no preconceived notions about anything yet? Our kids, right. So, I don't know how it's going to go. He may just clam up and it'll be short. My wife is going to join in. She's actually been working with a group called Crunchy, who's really about the sustainability as well, through some things. So worst case scenario, she'll talk about what they're doing. And so, we're talking about sustainability, and it really is more of an open discussion as opposed to me telling you what to do, because I'm still trying to figure out my place in all that as well. But I do think it's important. And so I think it'll be a good discussion. So that's Saturday.
Nice.
And then let's see here. Tuesdays with Todd happening next. Right?
So I've got asked to do printing on glitter. So I'm going to show you how I do sublimation on glitter HTV, and then I'm also going to do that same print as an eco print. So you can eco print for me. It's super simple because I just hit the button, it prints, and then it cuts that. On the glitter sublimation side, there's a little more into it. Now, some people print directly. They'll press on the garment and then they will press the transfer on the garment. That's not how I do it. I do everything off, and then I put it on there. So I take less chance of any dye getting on the shirt. I take less chance of scorch marks because I'm doing everything off the shirt. So we're going to do that on Tuesday.
Cool. Man, I love that you're back to the live printing thing, man. I know you can't do that every week, but
I'm going to try to. We're going to try and come up with. I'm going to ruin stuff. I think I'm going to get right back into the sublimation of seeing how bad I can screw some stuff up, and I think I might even go, hey, here's that $79 mug press on Amazon. Let's see what happens with it. Let's try and dial it in. Let's see how much it is off. Let's see what some of this stuff does, because some of that stuff isn't horrible. Some of the stuff, you just have to think anytime that you buy that lesser products, that your chances you're going to have issues with it. Chances are, it's not going to be the greatest or last the longest. But if you go into it knowing it's going to be disposable, I know for a fact that you can get one of those and you can make money and it'll pay for itself on one order. I did it with a cheap hat press, and that hat press is still going 3 years later. So, it's one of those where, if you want to try it, why not? What's the worst I can do? You screw something up.
Yep. Yeah. And I think it is that letting go of the, if you screw something up, it's the end of the world. Because I know it's tough, and I know that it obviously costs us money, and that's important, and we need to be able to make money, and we can't be wasting stuff and things like that. But trying some things out is the only way you're going to get better. In fact, the more failures you have, the better your business is going to be.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And
then appreciate you trying to fail for us.
Absolutely. Why not? That's what I'm here for. And then, over at montco.biz, we've got the face masks on, the face covers on there, mask covers. We've got those on there. So those are ready to go. So, get over there and take a gander at those. If you have not seen that yet, we did press some live last night. And I even screwed some up. So you can see how easy it is to fix your screw up on it, and how well they do press when you press them correctly.
Excellent. All right, sir. Well, off to the birthday party. Happy birthday to Hattie. And we will talk to you again soon here, sir.
Great. We will see you soon.
Oops, wrong button. Yeah, we still haven't figured out the ending thing yet. How long is it going to be until we figure that out?
I don't know.